Yo, what's up guys? Kusanagi here doing a review of Rei, who dropped yesterday in Goddess of Victory NIKKE. Rei for me was a financial disaster, took nearly 420 pulls and I still had a mileage ticket to get MLB. For me I have the unfortunate curse that Crown is deeply in love with me as I pulled 2 copies yesterday, bringing my total Crown duplicates to around 24. Hopefully I don't pull any more when it goes for Mari next week, but we will find out. So enough about my bad luck. Let's talk about Rei, and is she a good unit? She is a machine gun burst 3 fire DPS or sub DPS. There's basically only other 2 characters in this same slot are Modernia and Kilo that we got for free in the half anniversary. While she is an attacker class character, she has some supporter and defender capabilities that make her very unique. One of them is buffing as strong element, giving fire code allies additional attack, and synergizing with Asuka to enhance Asuka's own attack power. So, do you need Rei? Is she skippable? Well, if you already pulled Asuka, Rei complements her extremely well. I think that this is our first viable abnormal duo, as buffs Rem provided to Amelia for the last collaboration really weren't that effective. Rem's biggest issue became that she was power creeped by Crown immediately, and in some situations, even like the Nihilist or Solar Raid, I found that she was kind of lacking. I had survivability problems using Rem in that Solar Raid with Amelia. And I didn't really see the damage numbers that I would have thought Amelia was going to do with Rem providing additional buffs to rocket launchers. So all of those things were, in my mind, I felt not that good of a duo work together that didn't. Amelia just by herself just works fine in PvP. She can also work fine in other situations like normal story campaign or certain parts of the hard campaign even early on, but when it comes to their synergies together, it wasn't there. That is a completely different scenario with Rei and Asuka, where we get additional shield mechanisms off Rei on burst, and those enable Asuka's skill 2 passive, which basically increases her damage for 10 seconds. That is a huge change. She also gives fire code allies additional buff and damage as strong element. So if Asuka is fire code and you're fighting a wind code boss, they are going to do more damage, plain and simple, right? So this is one of the things to keep in mind is these buffs can basically either double or triple dip when it comes to Asuka and Rei, depending on if you're fighting like Indivilia and the special Anomaly Interception, or if you're in a neutral situation and one of your other allies happens to be Iron Code or Electric Code and the enemy is, let's say, Water Code, you can take advantage of that and be able to use that as strong element buff from both Asuka and Rei to increase that unit's damage. So if that's Red Hood, or if that is Maid Privity or Scarlet, there is some formulaic teams you could come up with to basically take advantage of that, especially because elemental damage is just becoming way more interesting, way more useful, especially when it comes to the Anomaly Interception. Let's talk a little bit about investment. So when it comes to Rei, you can basically go 4-7-7 if you're limited on resources. You can go to 10 on skill 2 and bump skill 1 to 7 if you have extra skill manuals to spare. In my opinion, I don't think it's worth going to 10 on the burst skill. It's a pretty small percentage increase, but if she is waifu status for you, then go for it if you want to get that extra damage if you're going to be bursting with her. And then one thing to keep in mind is some of her passive skills require you to land, for example, 100 normal attacks to activate skill 1, and Rei only starts with 300 ammo. So your priority when it comes to overloading should be ammo, elemental, and attack.
In Rei's case, her skill 1 and burst are based on final attack. So that means rolling an attack line will be counted. Putting a doll on her will help on that. Unlike Asuka, who wants more elemental and attack being kind of on her. For Rei, attack is actually beneficial. So if you roll that black line or blue line attack, don't re-roll it in favor of trying to get an elemental or a ammo line. Try to get that ammo line elsewhere or lock it. Obviously, if it's on line 1, then you're kind of bricked. But if it happens to be in line 3, definitely lock it. Definitely try to keep those attack rolls because they're going to benefit Rei's final attack and her own buff skill for skill 1. For cube, you're going to want to go Bastion once you have the ammo. If you don't have the ammo and you're going to be needing to reload more often, then Resilience is your second choice there. I would say definitely try to just get the ammo first. Team comps for Rei, as mentioned before, they're going to vary depending on the situation. You can run her in an off-burst situation in that 5th slot. You can run her in position 4 if you actually want to burst with her and make use of her screen wipe. You can also use her instead of crown with a different B2 if you're trying to save your crown maybe for another team. When it comes to solo raid, you can put somebody else in that B2 slot and then run Rei in that 4th position with Asuka and still provide the shield buff that will allow you to ramp up Asuka's attack power. So there's a lot of different configurations you could put her in. Also putting Modernia in that 5th slot. But there are obviously trade-offs to this. One of them being on Anomaly Special Interception that you need healing against Indivilia. So if we're talking fire weak boss, there are a lot of strays that could be caught, as you can see in the video. The hardest team I've run against Indivilia is one without healing. It's just very difficult to not take a random laser that pops either crown because she's taunting and the taunt and vulnerability has worn off, or she pops your highest level attacker and it's kind of game over. So these things are going to happen when you're running obviously a team like that where there's just basically no healing support. I would say for Special Interception, running Naga or Rapunzel in that 5th slot is always the better option. Naga is just probably the best one for Special Interception if you're going for core damage. I don't think anybody would disagree at this point about whether you should be doing Naga and Crown on Special Interception Anomaly. And then your B1 is flex with Leader or DKW. I think for Indivilia, DKW makes way more sense as she will provide a lot of CDR and she's going to also do her own damage because she's a fire unit. A little bit more, not a whole lot, but enough. And then lastly, for your other 2 units, you can run Asuka and Rei, or you can run Alice and Rei, or Alice and Asuka and not use Rei. But this is something that I've been testing, and you can see from this, the Rei buff is real. It is a pretty nice chunk of extra damage that Asuka gets from running Rei with her. And the damage as strong element multipliers are really nice. So not giving those up means you can probably get to a higher level in Anomaly Interception. If you're struggling with it right now, being able to use that damage as strong element mechanism will make a big difference in whether you can get up an extra level and get some more gear toward locking either rock packs or getting extra rocks. Or just extra fodder gear if you're struggling to be able to level up your characters. So that is it for the review on Rei. I think overall, if you're considering getting her, it's worth 1 copy. Again, like Asuka, I wouldn't mileage her if you're limited on mileage. If you have excess tickets, then sure, you can use them. I would definitely get a copy if you already have Asuka, because they are really one of the first duo units that do their job. I think that this is
one of the better collaboration units that's going to have staying power for a good while. Asuka feels like she does pretty damn good damage. I get the sense of running her with Rei. I feel like they're very strong together. We'll know more about Mari's kit next week. Obviously, on paper, it looks good. It looks like it's going to provide a lot of additional support for Pierce units, but we want to see the reality of it, because once we actually test it, and in all reality, fighting a boss is different than doing things on a shooting range. We can see whether that Pierce is going to be effective against certain bosses, especially if we want to pair her with Asuka and Rei. You're now talking about 3/5 of your team is already made up of collab units, so now you have to figure out a B1 and maybe one other unit that can slot in there and provide some healing or something else. So these are things to obviously take into consideration when we're building a real team next week for special Interception with Mari dropping. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. I stream on Twitch every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Let me know in the comments if you managed to pull Rei, or if you are holding out for Anniversary. I wish you the best of luck and have a great rest of your week. See you later.